What is up, you guys? Wowee, what a first round of Supercross 2026. And I'm going to start off with the 250 class from Anaheim 1. But first off, guys, remember, subscribe if you think that I'm worth listening to, or if you just want to see some more of my games. I'm probably going to have one up this coming week, or at least one anyway. But with the week coming to a close, I should also point out that the weekend, I'm not going to be able to view San Diego live on Peacock because I'll be out somewhere and seeing a volleyball tournament. But in the meantime, let's get into this. Here comes my banner. Max Anstie draws first blood. Haiden Deegan, bad start, finishes fourth. Issued asinine penalty. Now, I'm going to get the elephant out, one of the first two elephants out of the room. Max Anstie. Wowee, what a start for him. He sure looks like he came to play, and he looks like he's ready for his first title in the States in the 250 class. Now, I remember when Anstie came in here in the States in 2010, and he didn't really light it up, but he could do great things, but it just seemed like he kept getting involved in some really stupid luck and a lot of stupid crashes from others. To see him do well at San Diego in 2010 but not make the podium was pretty disappointing. The unfortunate part was, though, that his results were pretty hit and miss along with Tommy Searle that season. But since he came back, while he hasn't really lit up the series like the way that Haiden Deegan does, the one thing about Anstie that you can really count on is the fact that he'll always not cheat you on effort at all, like RJ Hampshire does. RJ Hampshire does not cheat you on effort as well. But still, to see Anstie come out, he got a great start, and he was never really threatened at all once he got around Ryder DiFrancesco. And I have to say, for Ryder D to get third place, his first ever podium, kudos to him. Because really, if Haiden Deegan hadn't made as many mistakes as he did after coming up from that bad start, I don't think we'd be having this conversation about Ryder DiFrancesco making the podium. Because, to be frank, Ryder D has got what it takes to possibly win one of these things. He just has to have the right kind of luck come his way. Now, there were not really a lot of riders out there that I was looking for a big performance from. But I have to say, looking at the Pro Circuit Kawasaki team, they've got to figure something out with Levi Kitchen and Cameron McAdoo. Because really, for somebody who's competed in no more than 5 races in the last year or two, that being Cameron McAdoo, I have to say that Pro Circuit Kawasaki has to really be wetting their pants over this and letting Ty Masterpool get away. Because Ty's a guy who deserves another chance. And to see them pass him up over McAdoo, a guy who's not competed in more than 5 races in the last 2 years, I guess that really puts logic out the window for sure. Because when, you look back on Trey Canard, when he was at Factory Honda for so many years, although Canard was not really a front runner after all those injuries, the fact that he still stayed under Honda was a total head scratcher for sure. And I'm sure a lot of people are scratching their heads at Pro Circuit about how Cameron McAdoo did up until he crashed. And to be frank, when Garrett Marchbanks went for the 450 for Factory Kawasaki, I thought that would open up the door for Ty Masterpool to stay, but unfortunately, just didn't work out. And I'm sure that Pro Circuit has got to be thinking, oh my goodness, we really should have saved Ty for sure. Because, to be frank, even though McAdoo did sign a 2-year deal, and obviously Mitch Payton does show his loyalty, to be frank, if this is how McAdoo's career is going to go, I'll be really surprised if he got under a factory tent in the 250 class in 2027. Because although the guy can do great things, he just can't seem to stay off the ground. And could Haiden Deegan may have taken some responsibility for that? I doubt it. It was a racing incident. But here's the second elephant in the room. Haiden Deegan finished in 4th, and I say he was issued an asinine penalty because he was fined for refusing a TV interview. Come on. You can't keep making up penalties right out of your butt. Because seriously, last time I checked, 4th place was not a podium spot. Really? How many more asinine penalties are you going to create out of thin air? And the same goes for Jorge Prado in the 450 class. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit in another video when I get to the 450 class, which will be right after this. I was happy for Max Anstie to win the first round and for Ryder D to get on his first podium. That goes to show that that kid has what it takes. And if he just stays away from all the riffraff and all the incidents on the track, I'm not going to doubt Ryder DiFrancesco to win one of these things, to be frank. Now, is he going to beat Deegan for a title? Probably not, but still, if I'm a factory team right now like Rockstar Husqvarna, I'm keeping Ryder D as a spot on the roster under lock and key. Because that kid can do great things. And Pro Circuit kind of now realizes that after Ryder got the good start and led for a few laps before he was passed by Anstie. But I still think that Ryder DiFrancesco is going to win one of these things. Now to the guy who finished second in the 250 main, Chance Hymas, in his first ever race on the West Coast division. I got to say, I think he looks a little better on the West Coast than he did on the East Coast. I mean, yeah, he did battle for the title indoors and out, and he did win a race in the mud at Foxborough, but that was a complete quagmire for sure. And while Chance has the ability to win races like he did last year, to be frank, I think he does better on the West Coast because obviously he is from the West Coast, out of Pocatello, Idaho. And you don't normally hear about guys from the West Coast doing well on the East Coast. I mean, despite I can remember Blake Baggett and Danny Smith when Danny Smith got a second in Atlanta in 1998 as a 125 East rider. But still, that's really like only one. For Danny Smith's case, it was kind of like a one-time only thing. He'd have a good 1 or 2 time thing. He'd have a good race here and have a lot of bad luck after that. But 1999, he got a couple of podiums on the East Coast. And same goes in 2004 for Yamaha Troy. Unfortunately, after that, Danny Smith's career kind of went nowhere. But for Blake Baggett to win 1 or 2 races on the East Coast, he's the last guy that I can recall who did as good as Chance Hymas does from the West Coast and running the East Division. And, you look back on other guys who didn't fare as well on the East Coast. Look at Billy Laninovich in 2007. He was coming off of another knee injury, but even then, he didn't really look like the Billy Laninovich of old. And as a result, he was poised to point out of the lights class after 07, but unfortunately, he didn't crack 100 points, and his career kind of went nowhere after that, which was unfortunate too, because Billy's a guy that could do great things. But today, he's not out there anymore, but he was out there last year. And like I said before, would I have picked Laninovich to win one of these races? No, but still, it is good to see an old face back out there, and it would have been good to see Billy back out there again in the 250 class. And still, back to this one. For Max Anstie to come through with a great performance tonight at Anaheim 1, I really hope that he can keep the momentum going for the rest of the season. Because last year he lost at Detroit. He was about a half a lap away from winning that race. but unfortunately a red flag came out and a staggered restart, and he just did not cover the inside. You can't blame anybody else but Max Anstie for not leaving the door open, for not closing the door. Because really, you got a lap and a half to go. Why would you leave the door open like that? That's what I like to know. But still, that's in the past. And good on Max Anstie to start out well. And it looks like World Supercross really did him some good. Now, would I have picked Anstie as the titleist for this year? No. Haiden Deegan was my pick for sure. But this is what Haiden Deegan normally does. He starts out, just tries to feel himself out. And then by the time the season gets about 2 or 3 races in, he'll probably show up and be the Haiden Deegan that we've all gotten to know for sure. And that's where I'll leave it. But if I'm Star Yamaha right now, I'm appealing that really stupid penalty that Deegan got, because last time I checked, 4th place is not a spot on the podium, like I said earlier. But for Deegan to refuse a TV interview, come on, give the guy a break. He didn't finish on the podium. Look at Ricky Carmichael at Kenworthy's 2001. He won the first moto, and he finished second in the second moto to win the overall, which was his 5th in a row in 2001. And the one thing that really stood out was the fact that he did not come out for his winner interviews or his second place interview because he was suffering from a stomach virus, and word got out on the internet that Ricky had crapped his pants. So, really, are you going to penalize Ricky Carmichael for doing that back in the day? And if your answer is yes, then you're more screwed up than I thought. Let me tell you. So that's where I'm going to leave that for sure. But still, if I'm the AMA right now, I'm withdrawing that penalty and just letting everything go. Now I will address another penalty, another really stupid penalty that occurred in the 450 class with Jorge Prado in my next video. So stay tuned for that. And I will also have my recap of UH men's basketball's win at Cal Poly on Thursday night. So thanks, guys. Subscribe, and I'll see you all again for the 450 recap.